Douglas Bickford. It's the 10th of September 2021, 6:43 a.m. here in Klamath Falls, Oregon, which is my hometown. I got to move back to my hometown. This is where I graduated from in 74 from KU, Klamath Union High School. Everything's changed. I was gone for 14 years, and it's all different. I mean, I don't even see any people I know around here anymore. But, life is uh, always changing. And I've changed from 10 months ago. I got myself in a toxic relationship because I had no self-esteem. It was my fourth marriage. I'm actually still married to that woman. But you know what? I'll make her pay for it. I have no idea where she even is. You know? And, I was madly in love with her and she married me for my money. That's the bottom line. It's pretty sad, really. But that's gold digger, man. And I'm still reeling from the pain of it, and it's been over 10 months. Yeah, I mean, it hurt. But the thing is, I learned why I got myself in toxic marriages 4 times. Will never happen to me again. I mean, I'm not done with the romantic relationships, but I just won't. I will not be ever get in a toxic relationship because I have self-esteem now. It's called self-love, self-confidence, self-worth. I didn't have it for 65 years of my life because I was sexually molested by my evil father, along with 4 sisters and 1 brother. Uh, and I came clean about that. I masked that with that pain of being that as a child for years, for 65 years. I masked it with drugs, alcohol, sex, TV, religion, another person. Uh, I never faced the pain of it. I never talked about it. Now I came clean on YouTube. February 16th, 2021. Changed my life because I started talking about this stuff that happened to me as a kid. It can happen for you too, but you can't because I stuffed it for 65 years. People are still stuffing it. I mean, because a lot of us have been sexually, emotionally, and physically abused as children. Really, I mean, like 1 in 6 as far as sexual abuse. So billions of us on the planet. And then what happens is you stuff it, okay? You don't talk about it because you think it's your fault. You're embarrassed. And there's no groups to go join. You can go pay for therapy. You can go get a therapist all day long, but if they don't teach you how to love yourself, then your therapist will just do nothing for you. Because if people get themselves in many bad situations because they don't love themselves. You get abused. I was abused by every woman I was ever with and her family, their families. I've been abused by women for 65 years. It'll never happen to me again. But like I said, I'm not done with romantic relationships. One day the right woman will find me or whatever. But I'm not looking because I'm still reeling from the emotional pain. This woman abused me for 3.5 years and I was madly in love with her. And I gave her everything. I gave her all my money. I gave her all my time. I wasn't taking care of me. And it wasn't ever enough. I mean, to the tune of $100,000, $35,000 in silver. I gave her. Uh, gave her all my money. And I was retired military and Social Security coming in. Well, after about the first year of being married, Social Security. But I gave her every red cent, okay? And it was never enough. I mean, I had a 4-bedroom house, 4-bedroom, 2,300 square foot house. I had a 1,000 square foot greenhouse that I built and paid for. I had a 1,200 square foot shop that I had built and paid for. I had that built, but I built the greenhouse myself. I had a 3,000 square foot barn. Okay. All the fodder, all the animals. I had a milk cow. I had pigs, goats, horses, 2 horses, a donkey, 2 rooms stuffed full of food, 3 refrigerator freezers full of food, 2 freezers full of food, canned goods, dry goods, you name it. I had 2 big bedrooms full. I'd be in there working on my piano. And she'd come in there after she's big time news, watching all the news and all that, right? I'd be in there working on my piano. I'd always get up before I feed all the animals before she ever got out of bed. You know, I've always been an early riser. It's like at 6:50 a.m. here. I got up like 5:30 or something. Got my shower and all that. Anyway, she'd come in after looking at the news. I mean, sit on the freaking laptop for 2 hours. You know, all the stories, just like a lot of people do. Okay, I won't turn it on. I can't stand it. It puts all kinds of bad stuff in your brain. And then you start your day like that, thinking about all this stuff, right? Then go to YouTube, all the conspiracy stuff going on, and then COVID-19 hits, and then it's like, wow, then it really goes crazy. And it's still crazy with COVID-19. Now it's the Delta variant, right? And it's just going to continue on like that. There'll be something after the Delta variant and all that goes away, if it ever does. There'll be something else. I mean, they got to keep us all worked up and hating each other, and that's what the television and social media does, the Facebooks and all that. Anyway, she'd come in there and I'd be working on my piano because I'm a piano player, guitar player. I'm a musician, good one too. And had all this stuff. I had like 6 cars, tractor, enough, all the equipment to work the dirt on a 5-acre farm. Milk cow, milk. I had a baby calf, and all of it, chickens, turkeys, ducks, eggs up the yin yang. It was never enough that she'd come in there. We need to get more stuff. And I was already maxed out. I would make like $2,500 a month, and every dime I brought in, as soon as it hit the checking account, it was gone within 5 minutes. Paying for the feed for the animals. She wouldn't work. And that's usually the way it is in a toxic relationship. Then she was an alcoholic, okay? And then I didn't even drink when I went into the marriage. And then she talked me into it. But that's the way it happened. That's the way it works. But only reason I even got in that marriage, I married her after 3 weeks, is because I had no self-esteem. But anyway, that's why I'm here on YouTube teaching how to attain self-esteem. It's very simple. But most people, the gurus on YouTube, won't tell you how simple it is because your view is money to them. And they don't want you to have self-esteem because then you won't be going to watch. You'll turn your television off if you have self-esteem because you'll know what they're doing to us. We've been socially engineered not to have self-esteem. I kid you not. That's what Facebook's all about. That's what YouTube's about. I'm the absolute only one teaching how simple self-esteem is to attain, and here it is. Look at yourself in the mirror, say, I love you, say, I love my inner child, say, I'm worthy to be loved and worthy to love. Do it every day. Get the book. It's called The Portable Therapist. Read it, reread it. This is my 3rd time. I'm going through the book. Chapter at a time, The Portable Therapist, in a link in the description of this video. It's in all my videos. Very cheap. It's written by a doctor of psychology. She's a psychiatrist. She's nowhere to be found on any of the social media. She wrote the book in the 80s. And if you get this book, if you say those three things to yourself in the mirror every day without fail, don't tell anybody you're doing it, and just keep doing it, no matter how it makes you feel. Because the first time you do it, you'll have to force yourself to do it. It's like when I did. I can do it confidently now. I love Douglas A. Bickford. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to be loved. I'm worthy to love. And then I add all kinds of other stuff to it because the more positive you say to yourself all day long, the more it will come to you. We are exactly what we say we are. And most people get up and they're in front of the mirror and they start looking at start criticizing themselves. You can change your whole life if you start saying positive things about yourself in the mirror. Instead of, oh man, I'm getting old. Like I'm looking at me right now. I'm 65, right? We age, that's part of life, folks. There ain't nothing you can do about it. It's like these people, even guys, they're embarrassed. They will never tell you how old they are. But it doesn't even matter. We all age. You know, they're like embarrassed that they're getting older. It's the way it is. I even have 29-year-old, I've talked to 29-year-old girls. Oh, I look terrible at 29. Okay. And I mean, then they're going, oh man, I'm going to be 30. I did the same thing. When I hit 30, I was like, oh man, I'm getting old. When I was 20 and I thought people that were 30 were old. Okay. And you can't stop it. It's the way it is. That's one of the realities, our reality. And the other reality is we all die. It's coming. There ain't nothing you can do about it. You guys accept it. It's a natural process. Fear, pain. We live in pain, we die in pain. That's the way it is. That's our reality. Anyway, you can change your whole life. Get the book, Affordable Therapist. I'm going through a chapter at a time. I can be your mentor when you start going through the change process. I can help you. I've been through it. And it's very painful. You literally have to give up. I had to give up my own walk away because I can't be around toxic people, including my own children and grandchildren. Because I was abused as a child. They abused me. My own kids. My son, my daughter. My daughter and took away my grandkids, for never would bring them over to see me. I mean, I had a house in Spokane, Washington. That 2013, I bought this house in Spokane, Washington, paid cash for it. A manufactured home in a park, beautiful house. My daughter would never even bring my grandkids over to see me. She's too busy doing meth with all these abusive men. And then I literally, man, I mean, she was a caregiver. She was stealing pills from the old people. And she was doing all kinds of drugs. And then she had her husband that was a drug addict along with her. He was abusing my grandkids when they're, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. And he did. He probably sexually molested them. It wasn't his kids. They were his. And she married this guy, and he was a maniac. And to this day, she still hangs out with the guy. I mean, she's not with him anymore, but she's still like is nice to him and everything. So it's like I need seriously apologies from my own children. My son recently just told me to F off. I did nothing to him. He's married to an alcoholic, abusive woman. And then my daughter's married to, or not even married to this guy. She's been living with this guy for years. Beats her up, alcoholic, calls her every name in the book. Okay. And I refused to, because for years I tried to help them. Okay. My grandkids hate because of the guy that they were with was abusing them. And then would say, to him and my daughter, he's abusing my grandkids, and it just got all swept under the rug. So what? And she let her kids get abused by this guy. I mean, literally, they were afraid of him. Okay, that was Bob. His name was Bob. She was married to him for like, I don't know, 8 years or something. Now she's with another guy that tried to molest my granddaughters. Okay, she even told me this stuff, and now she's still with that guy. Now my granddaughters are all screwed up in the head. Both of them have kids, not even married. You know, they're going to bring more dysfunction in. And I just sit back. I just had to remove myself from the chaos. It's called a dysfunctional family. You have to, once you get self-esteem, you have to remove yourself from toxic relationships, toxic people to you. That's where part of the pain comes. I mean, it's like I can't even talk to my daughter because I mean, I can't even tell her, get the book Portable Therapist. You would think I was nuts. But this book will change your life, folks. I kid you not. Anyway, I'm going through a chapter at a time, and this is chapter 50. Why am I so confused about everything? Hooray! Being in a state of confusion occurs when we are in the right place and time to learn something new. Being confused about everything means that the Western model no longer works for us. The model no longer answers what we need. It means that reacting to others no longer works and that something fundamental is missing from our lives. Being confused means that what we have been taught no longer answers our instinctive questions. Being confused means that we are right to accept a new concept, and that's exactly what happened to me November 2nd, 2020, man. When I walked out on that woman because she was going to kill my cat, and she already killed two. Literally, uh, I was in a state of confusion, man. I was hurt. I was in pain. I didn't know where I was going. I mean, I left everything at home. And I had a van, 1987 Dodge van, and I had a Prowler trailer, 23 foot. I had no idea where I was going. And I just left because she was going to kill my cat. So I became ripe for a new concept. Okay. Just like it just said, confusion is a normal state of being human and being imperfect. The state of confusion is a necessary antecedent for change. We do not change when we are sure of where we are. We only change when we are uncomfortable, in pain, and confused. And that's exactly what happened to me on November 2nd, 2020. Welcome confusion. Know that it is the beginning of something new. Confusion means uncertainty. It means that we are willing to take a risk and try something unfamiliar. And that's what was, I mean, I like drove down the road, man, not even knowing where I was going. I just knew I was going to go. I had moved from Washington State to Idaho to marry this woman. I just knew I was going. I was going home to Oregon. That's where I headed because that's where I ended up. My home state is Oregon, and I ended up back in my hometown. But it was a 7-month process from that time I left. Anyway, it means we are willing to take a risk and try something unfamiliar. But most of all, it means that we are ready for change, man. And I was ready for change. I had no idea what was going on, but I believe God did it all. Used my cat to do it. I call God Great Spirit. I believe He made it all happen, and He's still making stuff happen. I believe everything's being controlled by a supreme being. I call Him the Great Spirit. The Western model teaches us that it is important to always be in control. She says teaches, I say brainwash. even of things we cannot control. Confusion means that we are no longer comfortable with the model. It sets a stage for risk taking. If we are not confused, then we would not be willing to change. And I was confused and hurt, and man, it was bad. Think of how confusing it must be to be an infant in a world that he or she does not understand and that he or she has not yet learned to communicate with. What does the infant do? She or he tries everything, and everything is a new behavior to make sense of the environment, and he or she risks all to communicate, and it works. The infant learns how to communicate, how to get along, and how to do what he or she needs to do. No matter how old we are chronologically, we are all infants when we begin to learn how to have self esteem, and that's true. I had no self esteem. I didn't know how to have self esteem. And then I found this book, first place that I ended up, which was in a box at my son's house, buried at the bottom. I was looking for a coffee cup. And I believe I believe I went to my son's house just so I could find this book. I got kicked out of there after 6 days because his wife's a raging alcoholic and my son has no self esteem. He's getting abused by her and he has been for like 8 years. I had no self esteem, so this book taught me how to have self esteem, and I just told you how to get it. That's why I'm on YouTube teaching it. If you are confused, take all risk. Try anything that will work. And what if one thing does not work? Try another. Eventually, you'll come to the conclusion that you cannot find what you need outside of yourself. You will discover that all paths lead to the same place, and that is the center of you. If you want to learn how not to be confused, study the concept of paradox. Accept yourself as confused and allow yourself to be uncertain. As soon as you do this, you will be less confused. Rejoice in your confusion as a positive vehicle for change, and as soon as you rejoice, you will become less confused. Look for the answers within yourself. You will become more secure that the answers are there. Enjoy your confusion and let go of the idea that you have any control over it. As soon as you let go, you will become more sure of yourself. Paradox works. Confusion is a positive state. It means that you are human and that you do not know all the answers, and that you are okay. You cannot be confused and also believe that you're perfect. You cannot be confused and be the victim of the weak ego. The state of confusion is similar to the state of grace. When you give in, accept that you do not know, and you're not all powerful, you are closer to God than when you are not confused and think you know. Wow. This book will change your life, folks. And I'm telling you, man, I'm not the same person I was 10 months ago. I still have pain. I'm still reeling from the pain of that, leaving that woman. Okay. I still have moments I go, wow. But that's part of life, man. You have to accept that pain that comes with life. It does. And you have to accept and acknowledge it. And that's our reality. And what people are doing is they can't accept the pain of life and they mask it. Drugs, alcohol, sex, TV, religion, and people mask it with another person. And like every marriage, as soon as one would fail, what it used to be for me, I'd jump right back in and get involved before I ever got over the hurt, ever went through the pain of losing whatever relationship it was with. This was the life-changing one for me because it's been 10 months and a week. And I have not jumped back in and masked my pain with another person. And I also haven't masked my pain with drugs, alcohol, sex, TV, religion. People use all those things too. Food, material possessions. I was blessed because I paid cash for my house. I got all my, I got like 6 vehicles, got my Harley, got a boat, but they're all just toys. That's not what makes me happy. Even my house, because, you know, my happiness comes from within now because I have self esteem, self love. And this mirror therapy and this book, I'm telling you, it can change your life. And when you go start going through that change, I can mentor you, I can help you because I've been through it. I don't want anything from you. I don't want money. I don't want to make a relationship. Only relationship I would want would be a friends so I can help you get out of toxic relationships and get healthy minded. And that's all I want you to do is get healthy minded. Uh, I'll never try to make money off of YouTube videos. But my life's mission is to help people uh, know themselves and explore the inside of themselves, and then they can be healthy. Then you can have a healthy relationship. I know one day the right woman is going to show up for me because I want to share my everything I have with somebody, you know, and I want to have somebody to sleep with. And that's all I've ever tried to do is to have somebody love me. But if you don't have any self-esteem, you always attract exactly what you are. You can't love and you can't be loved without it. I have self-esteem now. So the next woman, because I'm heterosexual, next woman I have a relationship with, it'll be a healthy one. And I'm not looking. I don't even know, but it'll happen eventually because it's a gift from God to have a spouse and somebody that loves you. And I've been through all these relationships and none of them ever loved me. It's crazy how it works, but that's the way it is. Not really. They needed me for whatever reason. I was looking for love in all my relationships. I was always a guy that couldn't say no because I was trying to make it work. Every marriage, I can sit there and go, wow, I got abused by these women and their families. My second marriage, let's see. Uh, Second marriage was a joke. That woman had 4 kids, and that was a crazy relationship. We got married, and then 2 weeks later, we moved in Klamath. This is my hometown. That's where I'm at again. Moved in to this house I was buying. 2 weeks, we split up, and she got a restraining order me. A restraining order against me. I lost my house because of her. Seriously, I couldn't go back to my own house. She had all these 4 kids climbing through the windows and everything else. That's how low self-esteem I had. That was my second marriage. And then that lasted a couple years, I guess. And then I met this other one, just barely divorced from that one. No, I think I got divorced after I met this other one. Third marriage, and that turned out toxic. She was raped by her own father. She told me, at the very first date, she told me that. And then got no therapy for it or anything. So then she had some twisted thing with her father. Then the whole family swept it all under the rug. I think the father raped all the girls. There was 3 of them, and beat the sons. There was a family of 5. Sexually raped the daughters. The father did, and then beat the crap out of the boys. So there's three girls, and they're all messed up. And that was my third marriage, right? Then my fourth marriage, she was in denial of all the stuff. I believe she was raped by her brother, okay, her older brother. She even told me, I'll never tell you all my sexual, what's happened to me. I bury everything, she says. And then told her all my stuff, right? And then third marriage, she was my fourth. And I mean, this third marriage ended up a disaster. She ended up denying that he ever did anything to her. All of it got swept under the rug. And then she started getting mad at me because she had told, then she lied to me. I mean, at the end of our marriage, told me, no, I never told you that. And that was the first thing she told me. Even her best friend knew it happened to her. So so she couldn't love. She had no self-esteem because she was sexually molested. I had no self-esteem because I was sexually molested by my father. She knew about mine. I told her all about mine. And anyway, then my fourth marriage, she was in denial of all the sex abuse that happened to her by her brother, by her father, by her mother. And then I ended up moving her fat mother in, and that ended up being I mean, 2 months after she moved in my house, I lost la vista because she would get killed my cat. She had killed two of them because my cat scratched her mother in the face. But her mother lied and said my cat jumped up off the floor and for no reason and attacked her. And cats don't do that, and he didn't do that. But that's what she said. She was either petting him or prodding him or something and breaking up a cat fight. And they reached up and scratched her. She was bending down. She was 150 pounds overweight, some big fat, couldn't quit eating ice cream. Mormon woman, know it all, bully. And then I had a brother, alcoholic, raging drunk, or drug addict, wouldn't do jack, hoarder, racist. I had him, he was living on my property in an old ratty RV. And then my wife was supporting him, and then she moved her mother in, and my wife was like a codependent narcissist. It was weird. My wife was the bar hopping princess, okay, in a band, and got all her ego. She's all egotistical about all that stuff, talking how cool she is and how beautiful she was, and how in her younger days she was all that. Okay, but I knew all that going in. I had no self-esteem. I mean, our first date, she told me how she had a threesome with her and her husband. And I still married her after that because I had no self esteem. But anyway, you can all change your life. You can all get out of toxic relationships if you get self esteem. You all have a great day out there.